Hey guys, good morning. It's Tony. So if you guys are, hold on, had to do that before I start the video. um, so if you guys are part of the Patreon, I mean, you guys have known that I've already been pretty bearish for a while, and if you guys have just seen my videos on YouTube as well, you guys know that I've been telling you guys, hey, I think Bitcoin's gonna sell off. Um, for a pretty decent while, and I actually sold all of my crypto stock right around this level right here, around 65k, and I actually just bought all of my crypto stock back here from like around 57k with BTC hit, right? So I'm not saying that we're creating a bottom. I'm saying the potential is definitely here. As of right now, I would have to guess I'm still pretty bearish, right? On the weekly, we're barely gonna be creating a bearish week on Bitcoin, and on average, we last about 3 weeks in a bear market. I personally think that we might just end up trading sideways from here, or we might actually rebound. I do think there's a chance that we're probably gonna go back to 50 to 56.4, or possibly even lower than that, right? There's a big chance that you can see a big massive drop from here down to here. You didn't break relative highs, right? You didn't even go back up to 60k. So as of right now, I would not be surprised to see the price of Bitcoin go all the way back down to like 53k, right? Would definitely not be surprised. But I want to see how big the reaction is on the 4 hour. This is super, super important, right? The last time we actually had a similar trigger was back here on November 15th, and it's what started this massive sell off from 65k, right? Essentially, we had a perfect trigger right here from the initial drop of 66k down to 64k, right? So we had this $2,000 drop. We had that trigger, and guess what? We've dropped from 64 all the way down to 55. So basically, we could have easily caught that $10,000 drop, right? But if you're part of the Patreon, I already told you guys, I've been bearish for a little bit long. I've been bearish for a while, which is why I sold my stock back all my crypto stocks like Riot, HUT, all my calls. I sold back here, right? This is where I sold. Um, and on the weekly, you are, like I said, you did see those early signs. You actually saw it right at the beginning on Monday. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yo, this is enough of a signal for me to see a potential of a drop. So I was out, right? We really have to see how this 4 hour plays out right here. So you really got to see how this 4 hour plays out. If this 4 hour actually plays out, you get that bear trigger on the reverse MACD, and you actually see that drop down to 56,595. So if you actually see a drop here, I can really see it. I don't want to say that we're gonna keep dropping, but if you see a drop here and it doesn't break these lows of 55,681, which are these relative lows, I can see this being a higher low and then bouncing up high, right? But really depends on what that 4 hour does. Because on the daily, right? On the daily, it does look like it wants to close a bullish day again. And we're essentially, not only do we have we would have essentially a perfect buy on Bitcoin. You also have bullish divergence, right? You have the Stoke highs, Stoke lows, and then you have price low, price high, right? You essentially have an opposite, an opposing correlation of price and the stochastic, so which would give us bullish divergence. On the daily, you don't actually have a full retrace of a point 0.5 or point 0.6 on the fib, which is not it's not bad, but I would ideally want it to be lower, right, to actually call something. But you have the point 0.5 is right here, right? You have your first golden fib at 54.3, your second would be at like 50k for Bitcoin. So I'm not saying I'm still kind of bearish. I would not be surprised again to see, price come back down to trend here and then rebound up. But again, if we do create a bottom, I do think it's either going to be here where we are currently, or if we don't stop here, I think we're going all the way back down to trend, right? So there's two things that can happen right now. If there is no bottom right here, right? If this right here is not a bottom, then I 100% think we're going down here. That's what I think, right? If you don't rebound from here and do something like this, watch, I'll show you guys. So if you don't rebound from here, right? So you can drop right there, right? That doesn't matter, right? But you need to create a lower high, right? So this is what you got to do. You got to do something like that. maybe something like this, and then you got to go break up trend, right? So you have to create a higher, a lower high, right? You can't go under 55, or what is this level? 55,649. You can't go under this relative low. If you go under this relative low, I think we're going back all the way down in trend, right? If you break this, right? If this gets broken right here, this price range right here, I think we're going back all the way to trend right there. I wouldn't say that's an easy call, but I'd say, if that relative low gets broken right there, I'm almost positive we're going down to minimum like 53K, right? And then we got to go back and look at the TA at the support. And if it looks bearish, then we're going down a trend. And we go down a trend and it breaks trend, then you're going all the way down to 40K, right? That's just how it is. So there's a couple things that can happen. I'm really just waiting on the 4-hour to actually close bearish to see how it reacts, right? Because as of right now, I'm sitting at a neutral Bitcoin. I really want to just see what happens because I've been bearish ever since right here, right? And I basically, if you're part of the Patreon, I'm like, you know what, we're going fully down, and I basically called all this since the beginning or even before, right? That's why I sold, but. And it's a big but. we gotta see what happens at the 4-hour trigger right here, at this 4-hour bearish trigger. So if we do cross a 4-hour bear trigger and all we do is kind of trade sideways or trade down, bounce from here and go back up, that's a really good sign. If you break these relative lows of 55, whatever it is, what is it, 55,625, then I can see us going all the way back down to trend. So right now, I'm not bullish, I'm not bearish. It's just we gotta wait and see for the next couple of hours. I'd say that I would have a better idea of what's gonna happen with Bitcoin, possibly in the next 8 hours or so, because that's when we'll actually have like a trigger down here, right? And the stochastic still has a little bit more room to go up a little bit higher. But as of right now, I can say with pretty good confidence that I think for the most part we are going to be going down. I think I would not be surprised to see us back at 56.4 sometime today or tomorrow, but it really depends. Are we going to bounce off from this support and run up? Or because if we don't and we break support and you break this relative low, I think we're going all the way down a trend, which would be to like 50K or something. So I'll see you guys later. Super important for the next day or two to see what the 4-hour does. If we close a bear cycle, that's fine. That's what I'm expecting. But we want to see the reaction on Bitcoin. If you actually see a really big reaction and a big sell-off again, down to under like 56.4 or whatever, then we're possibly going all the way back down to like 50K. If you create a lower high, then I think this is possibly the bottom and we're going to rebound from here. You never know what's going to happen, man. But that's what I think. One of two things, right? Either scenario one, scenario two, really doubt anything else happens. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.